Good afternoon. My name is Joe Bandel, and I am the last Rosicrucian. I just came in from outside. It's minus 7 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm at my glasses turned dark in the snow or in the sunlight that way. So pretty cold, kind of cold. Had the dog out. Anyway, um, I said, hey, it's time to put out something for this week. I'm probably running a little late even, because I didn't feel that inspired. But I was do kind of an update on what's going on because there's been a lot happening this past week. And excuse me, um, I've really kind of felt the changes. There's digging in. The new energies are really digging in to the earth, to my body, whatever. And I could definitely feel changes, feeling more like more of me has come into my physical body, as well as kind of my spirit kind of rising a little bit. I actually, at one point, I had a very vivid dream, and I was like, "Wow, this is what ascension is about." Now that was while I was in the dream, because I actually uh, was in a totally new environment that I have never been in before. So and this environment has been both more physical, but even more plastic, I guess. Not plastic, but where you can more supportive of creativity, I guess, is what I'm saying, more malleable. But anyway, that particular whatever it was I was wanting to say, I decided it wasn't important enough to really say it, other than um, this. Everything seems to indicate that this year, 2025, is really the tipping point. It's really the time when the new energies that are coming in for the new eon, the new age, are really digging in, and that is causing some massive disruption around. Again, I've I've said for many years now, uh, the dominant energy is going to be root chakra energy. The root chakra energy is shamanic energy, but it's also uh, down to the basic needs of survival. And it's going to be the opposite of head tripping energy. What we need basic survival skills to get us through, basic smarts, basic common sense, I guess, is what we're talking about. And the events around us have pretty much crystallized into what's going to happen, depending on where we are in the world, that kind of thing. So it's when I think of, okay, how can I do a video that might suggest what's important to do or how to do things. What's happening realistically is, if you haven't been doing the work, it's almost too late to keep up, to catch up. You can't really catch up. What you can do is limp along the best that you can. So as a consequence of that, what I'm suggesting is that at this point in time, the average person out there is really, they're experiencing a lot of stresses in a lot of points. And to ask people to, okay, kind of generate energy type thing, you're generating energy, you're generating enough energy to propel things the way it is just by just through the stress of trying to cope with what's going on. So the most important thing, as far as I'm concerned, the most important thing that anybody can do or offer to people is do your meditation. Do some type of meditation every day. I do a meditation in the morning and I do a meditation in the evening. And each of those meditations is probably about an hour long. And they're really, really powerful meditations. And I'm not saying that somebody else should be doing a meditation, an hour long meditation. That's simply not something that a beginner can step into. But on the other hand, I've spent maybe 30 years trying to describe or suggest a type of meditation that I've called the energy ball meditations, that actually works to activate the chakra centers, the individual chakra centers, and link them together. And at this point, I've to the point where I'm almost saying, well, if you haven't been doing that, it's almost too late to start, unless you really have the time and effort to really uh, put yourself into something like that. So realistically, probably the best bet for people now is some variant of what's called the body of light meditation. And I'm going to this is what I've been using, but I built up my meditation skills over 30 years, whatever, to where it works a lot different for me than it would for somebody that's just getting started. I've got to say that. However, uh, it's time it's time to straight out say what's really needed is to stay sane. And the best way of staying sane in today's world is to circulate these energies and bring them into awareness where they can be dealt with safely. Because there's a lot of repressed energies that if they're not released, they're gonna they're gonna cause acting out in psychotic behaviors of one type, knee-jerk behaviors, uh, the crazies, basically. Um, Frankly, the so-called Trump derangement syndrome is a form of crazy. Because what's happening is we have a culture that has gotten so far in their heads that they've lost contact with the ground. They've lost contact with reality. And what's really needed is to connect the head with the earth again. What we really need is to connect the head with the heart. but also the earth is the the root chakra, the dominant energy, and that's basically how we have to do it. So what I'm going to suggest how I go through this simple body of light meditation. I'm also going to say that I don't, at this point, I no longer listen to a recorded meditation. I used to record meditations and I would listen to my own voice as I would go through those meditations. And then after a while, I would start wandering off during the meditation and not listening attentively. And what what I've built up to is the best thing that I can do for myself right now is to sit quietly and say the meditation to myself, physically say it to myself as I'm going along, because that tends to hold me in the meditation and help me to focus exactly on what I'm trying to do. So I'm just saying, if you think meditation is I'm going to turn on a recording and listen to that recording and go through it, uh, it might work. It might work for you, but if you're uh, starting to space out, you're wandering off and something like that, you're better off probably uh, doing talking to yourself out loud while you're doing the meditation. And I will just give an example of how I start the meditation, where I'm sitting there quietly, um, and I take a few deep breaths, and then I say, I feel the energy coming into my toes, and that my toes are filled with a warm, healing energy, and my toes feel radiant with light, smiling and happy. Now the energy is flowing into the balls of my feet, both feet. I feel the energy in the balls of my feet, and they're filled with a warm and healing energy. And the balls of my feet are radiant with light, smiling and happy. And I go through that to the arches, the heels, the ankles, the the calves of my legs, the calves, the knees, the thighs, the hips, the pelvis, the tailbone and base of the spine, the lower spine, the lower back and the lower spine, the middle back, the middle spine, the upper back, the upper spine, my neck, the skull. And I come back down again to go for even more intense energy, calling forth the energy into the body with the buttocks, the genitals, moving up to the prostate, the bladder, and the uterus, ovaries, uh, womb. For and that could be for a male or a female, but in reality, energy-wise, or on the unseen worlds, we have the potential to have both of those because we are equal. Our souls, our energy bodies are balanced perfectly, male and female. So anyway, I'm just mentioning that. But then moving to the small intestines and large intestines, the kidneys, adrenal glands, moving up to the stomach, the pancreas and liver, the spleen, the gallbladder, the heart, the lungs, the ribs and the entire skeleton, then the shoulder blades, the shoulders and the collarbones. Then I move to where I feel the energy coming into my fingers, the warm healing energy in my fingers, my palms, the wrists, the forearms, the upper arms and shoulders, and then I move to the thymus gland, which is just right above the heart, and then to the thyroid, which is the Adam's apple portion, and the larynx. Then move to the hinge of the jaw, the base of the tongue, and the ears as a single location. Then the upper jaw, the lower jaw, the teeth, the gums, and the mouth. I kind of group these things together. Then I kind of move up and I put my hands, my fingers to help at this point. Uh, the cheeks, but under the cheeks is part of the sinuses. So the cheeks, the nose, and behind the eyes is the sinuses. So I'm kind of holding my nose and I kind of have under my cheeks. So I'm kind of touching those areas, trying to send energy into that sinuses area. And then just touching my eyes, putting the energy into my eyes, then the brow and the temples, the crown of the head, and the scalp, the back of the head. And that's basically the body of light meditation as I go through it. So it's kind of going through it twice, or it's getting more deep, more it by focusing on the organs, the internal organs. You can add the muscles, uh, the the blood vessels, anything that's causing specifically the tendons, the cartilage, something like that, if it's needed. Uh, to focus on, because I focus on one leg that has some problems. I try to send a special energy to that, and a hip that also is having issues that need some special attention. Things like that. I'll go back after I've done that first portion of the meditation um, to specifically call energy to the trouble areas, um, and do it in a positive, affirming manner. And then, for example, the body of light is filled with warm, healing energy, and the body of light heals the physical body, and then the body of light brings this energy to the specific area that we're talking about. So it's a lot of energy work at that point. However, and I'm just talking through what I'm trying to do. You're gonna be led to your own way of doing these things. But one of the things that comes next for me is I talk about trying to uh, blend, to merge with God and Goddess and the energies of God and Goddess. So I'm trying to merge, I'm trying to visualize them. And at this point in my meditation, it is at the heart level. that the God and Goddess energies merge. But the thing is, there's something called the law of the triangle, which is the paradox. The it's the solution to the paradox of duality, because the God and Goddess energy doesn't really go together, being opposites. They will go together. I mean, you can make them go together, but only you can make them go together, which means as the third point. You're talking about what in religion is called the Trinity, and you become the third point. So you become, for lack of a better word, the Christ child. The You become the child, or you become what happens, what's created at the merger of the God and the Goddess energy at the heart level. And noticing that that you merge that way. Then I kind of go into merging with Gaia and all living things that are trying to uh, ascend with Gaia. And at this point, I get more specific, kind of working in uh, going through. Okay, I want my physical body to ascend, my DNA to transform into new and improved DNA, my RNA to transform into new and improved RNA. Every new cell that my body creates to be created from new and improved DNA. Every new cell that my body creates to be created from new and improved RNA. Those are some examples of that. But also talking about each one of us has around us has oh spirit guides, spirit helpers, masters, whatever you want to call it. There are these entities that are around us that are looking out for us. And at this point in the meditation, after I have pretty much invoked and tried to merge with the God and Goddess energies, I call upon these entities, my team, that I call my team, to kind of help me, to work with me on these things. And what's interesting is, as I'm doing this, I get a sense of very strong energies most of the time that I'm able that are swirling around me, and that I can kind of move here and there, kind of help things rise. I try to lift things up. If everything's trying to ascend, if Gaia is trying to ascend, I can visualize it in my hands, and I just raising it up and then sending it up, mentally helping it to go up. Uh, Also, I ask out loud. I want to ascend. My entire being wants to ascend to a higher vibration, and I feel my awareness in the different aspects of myself, like my physical body, my etheric body, my astral bodies, my heart, my mind, my soul, my being, all of those things rising to a higher vibrational level, ascending to a higher vibration. And you can feel the sensations, you can feel these kind of things happening when you're working with the meditation. Now, I'm just giving hints, I'm giving kind of ideas, I'm suggesting things. Also, one of the things that I call out is for global peace, goodwill, uh, just heartfelt compassion for life on earth, and that we want to live in a peaceful world, trying to phrase everything in a very peaceful way. And what happens after, like I said, for me, I load a lot of things down, visualizing and sending love and good energy to friends and relatives that I have, or even all the people who live in the same building that I do. So what I'm it's something that's really positive oriented. And if you see a lot of these Galactic Federation videos that I've been reposting online on Pagan Space, they have good messages that kind of resonate with where I'm coming from. Because if you listen to any of those, it's really fascinating how they are very careful how they use the words in a positive sense. So that's very important. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to get at for this it's not a meditation, for this video this week, is that my my understanding is the most powerful thing that you can be doing now is to do at least one meditation a day that circulates and stirs these energies up, where you're actually trying to increase your vibrations, rise up or ascend. You're putting that intent out there and you're sending out love and for love and peace for the entire world and for your loved ones. That that's probably the most powerful thing that people can be doing right now. It's mainly what I'm doing, but I think it's what other people can do. A lot of the things that I have suggested in past years, it's almost like too late. We've missed the boat on those things, but these things we can still do to the best of our ability, which the whole intent of meditating like this is resiliency, to kind of help ride the rapids that we're going through right now. Because we're going to be, every indication is we're going through a very uh, rough time, and depending on how secure we are, the events that have crystallized around us will determine whether we're going to have a safe, joyful journey or whether it's going to be scary and with a lot of challenges. Uh, Everything's depending. It's what each individual has set up for themselves. That's what's going to be happening to them. I have no way of saying that. It's individual. So I'm just kind of, but what I am trying to share is get at least one meditation in. And the best way of doing that is just to do that old body of light meditation that there's a variation of that. You're going to see it all in all kinds of places on the internet or whatever. It's been around forever. But it's uh, probably going to help strengthen your connection. It starts at the feet, which is at the earth. So it's going to help assist us to anchor to the earth. And it does come up and it circulates that energy through the organs of the body, through the entire body, up into the head to allow the beginnings of communication the to allow the different levels communicate with each other. That's all I'm trying to say is at this point nothing fancy. We just try to this is what we can do. And I guess I'm beating that to death. Uh, I don't have anything else to really to say. I just thought I would share that for this week because I have felt that my aura this past 2 weeks or this past week especially that things have really shifted and that everything's kind of condensed in my aura a little bit more. I was a little more empowered that way. Um, and I've actually, this time of year, I don't know if you realize, but Monday was Imbolc or Candlemas. And at this time of year, it is normal that we should be getting a vision of what to be doing for the coming year. It's that time we have, before we plant any seeds, we have a vision of what we're going to do. That's what happens. After now, we're this time that we're just moving from now until March, the spring equinox, is the time of planting the seeds in the ground. So by this time, we should have got the blueprint for what lies ahead, have the plans of what we plan to do for the coming year, have that in our heads. Now we got to manifest it. The first thing to do to manifest it is to plant the seeds. And we have till the spring equinox for that purpose. And what we're going up against when we try to plant that is there's it's kind of like a battle. Okay, what's are the seeds that we plant going to actually grow or are they going to be pulled up? We have no way of knowing until we actually do it. So we give it the best try that we have. That's that's what we're looking at, planting seeds for the future. Okay, till next week. Thank you. Goodbye.